Welcome to Wednesday Wanderings. My name is Mark Long, rector of the parish of St Andrew in Newlands, Cape Town. Over the last few weeks, I've been focusing in these wanderings on our Lent course. We've been using a wonderful book by Rowan Williams, God With Us, as the basis for our time together. And this week, the epilogue touches on a wonderful icon of the resurrection, one that belongs to St Andrew's, Holborn in London. It's an icon, and icons, of course, are written, not painted. I've only seen it in black and white. I'm sure in color it's probably quite outstanding. But it's one that reminds us that resurrection is actually all about recreation. And there's a lovely picture of Jesus raising both Adam and Eve from the grave. And Adam and Eve looking old. So it's not, they're not in their prime. We're not talking about the first creation here. We're talking about a recreation. And while resurrection, Rowan makes the point that Jesus' death, he really died, and resurrection was new life out of nothing. What's lovely about this icon is it reminds us that God continues to work there's a process of God's involvement in our world. And while the great flood, the suggestion is that God just got the hell in with human beings and wanted to get rid of us completely. And just a few, Noah and his family survived that. And a new creation almost with the few animals is redeveloped from that point. One thing about this icon is there's no sense of destruction in the fact that Adam and Eve are raised to new life from the sarcophagi that they have been buried in. Adam and Eve are old. They're not in their prime. And so a sense that actually life has continued, life has grown, life has developed. And God is recreating from all that has existed. And so a wonderful sense of continuity. So although the resurrection comes in and marks this fulcrum time in history, it's one that builds on the past. And of course, we were reminded over the last couple of weeks that the resurrection marks a time when the relationship between us and God settles. Up until that point, God has been building, God has been developing. There have been various covenants since the time of Noah in which God has really sought to put in place the framework for relationship between him and humanity, and ultimately with all of creation. And so there's a wonderful sense of Adam and Eve in their old age being raised. They are life-worn in many ways. And it's in the midst, I think, helpful for me as we continue to grapple with COVID-19 and its impact on our lives, and particularly as we come to this Holy Week and our Easter celebrations, upcoming Easter celebrations. The sense that God continues to work with what is there. God works with our lives, and what lies behind us is never wasted. It may be broken, it may be hurt, it may be needing rebirth and reconciliation and all the rest, but it's not wasted. And the present resurrection comes in to bring new life to all that we are and to take us forward. And for me, the huge challenge, and perhaps something for us to think about as we journey through the rest of Holy Week, and particularly Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, and then of course into Easter Day itself, to reflect on how we can interact anew with the insights that Rowan has given in terms of what the cross is about and in terms of what resurrection is about. And so a wonderful sense for me in looking forward to these celebrations that I can enter them with a new set of spectacles, a new perspective on what Jesus' death means, what his resurrection means. And part of that is to actually recognize that the brokenness, the sin, the evil that still is in our world and experience can no longer has the power to hold us, to constrict us, to hold us captive. And that part of moving forward for me is, how do I embrace this gift of new life How do I embrace the fact that actually the power of death and evil has been broken? And of course, the challenge for me is to see through that, to see the pretense that is, and then ultimately to live a life of both sacrifice and victory, and to live a life that really is marked by creation and this gift of new life and the hope and the potential that offers for me, for the community that I serve, for the wider city that I'm part of, and for the nation that I belong to, and ultimately for us, for the world in which we all live. So God's blessings on you as we enter into the Triduum, which is the Maundy Thursday evening into Good Friday with the celebration of the resurrection on Sunday. Bless you.